Hi everyone! Do you remember when I said that I wasn't going to buy any more books? We all know that I lied, right? Welcome to my July book haul. And I bought more books than I thought, and probably more books than I am actually allowed to keep, but I regret nothing. And if you don't know me, my name is Clara and I'm completely lost and in love with books. So we're going to do a little bit of a, condensed video about the books that I bought in this month of July. Okay? And at the end of the video, if you want, you can tell me which ones should I read first, if I can. And if you have read them, tell me what you think, and I may prioritize some above others. Some of these books are from Spanish authors, so you will not be able to find them in your language, in English, but I will be gladly doing reviews afterwards, just in case you want to practice your Spanish. In case you are new, I recommend you to subscribe to my channel if you like this little family, and maybe, like my video, go and comment, this kind of stuff. I leave you where you can find me down there, as well as so you know what I'm looking for. Alright? Let's start then. So we are going to start with the pre-orders, because I cannot wait until they are released. I need to pre-order books when I know the authors are really my favorite, or when the topics, titles and things that the book check are important to me. So let's go with one of my favorite authors of like 3 years from now, I think, but I love her and I cannot wait to have her new book in my hands, which is The Price Guide to the Occult, written by Leslie Walton, who was the author of The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender, who was one of the best characters I've actually read. And in fact, she and her whole family were my home for a month where I was feeling really bad in health, so her book became a refuge. So she is like must buy for me. And also, the moment I heard that the book in some way it was related to witchcraft or witches, that's an element, a buzz that a book has to have, in my opinion. So it's going to be compulsory read for me. The second author I pre-ordered was actually Bridget Kemmerer. I'm probably saying it wrong, so I'm sorry, Bridget. She wrote A Curse So Dark and Lonely, which is a fantasy book about a girl who is transported from our land, from our world, to a fantasy land where a prince is cursed, and apparently he's a very really bad curse that becomes him or makes him be a beast. So in case you don't know, my favorite fairy tale, my favorite Disney version of all time in human form and in animation is actually Beauty and the Beast. So any kind of retelling that I can come across at some point, comic, book, film, whatever it is, I'm going to buy it. I really love that trope and I really like that. So when I discovered that this was a retelling, a fantasy retelling, it was going to be a yes for me. But then I discovered that the human, normal, ordinary girl actually had our beautiful Belle, the version of Belle of this story, had cerebral palsy. So for those who don't know, I actually have cerebral palsy. That's why I'm in a wheelchair. But to me, what made me buy this book in particular was not only the Beauty and the Beast retelling, but the fact that a disabled character was the main character in a story. And I don't know how the disability is treated in the book, but I'm really willing to find out, because for years I've been reading books for years, and I would love to have a strong-minded, a strong character, strong women in protagonist kind of main character position, that they also have this ability. I don't want to have the secondary, very, very minor character. I want to be in the center of the stage, because I never found characters that are like me. So Harper, the main character of this story, apparently has cerebral palsy, and I am thrilled to find a character that is just like me, and I didn't need anything else to buy it. I buy it just as soon as I discover the book, and I cannot wait it to arrive, actually. Now, going to the physical books, I bought quite a few, so bear with me. Some of them I don't have them with me because they are in other rooms, so I will post the cover, don't worry. The first one I'm going to talk about is actually a Spanish book, but you can also find it in English. This is the Spanish translation of Hackseed. La Semilla de la Bruja is how they translated Hackseed by Margaret Atwood. Hackseed is part of the Hogarth Shakespeare collection, and you probably know that I adore Shakespeare, right? Even though I'm sure I'm pronouncing his name utterly wrong, because every time I try to pronounce it while speaking fluently and quick, I am not in the right position to do so. So for me, the Hogarth Shakespeare series is very important because it gives contemporary authors the opportunity to reimagine certain plays of the bard, and I find that I love that kind of twist. So far I only have this one, but this one is a retelling of The Tempest. However, this time The Tempest is unleashed in a prison, apparently, where the drama teacher of the prison, who is a former stage director that is a little bit in his downfall, he brings The Tempest by William Shakespeare to these inmates, and the play serves as a revenge, not only for the people inside the prison, but also for the new drama professor. And I love it, and I also find that sometimes retellings are the easiest way for me to enter in a classic. If I don't feel confident enough to actually read the proper play, at least now I will know the gist, the main elements of the plot, so I don't get lost in the language. And I was waiting for this one like for almost 2 years, and I'm thrilled. I'm extremely thrilled. What else? I also bought, in a compulsory buying opportunity, I also bought, and I need to check that because the title is translated and I don't remember how was the original title. Yes, a spell book of the Lost and Found by Moira Fowley-Doyle. I hope I'm saying it right. I know that this author was extremely well known by the Accident season that I still want to read, but when I saw this on display lately, very hard, hidden in between other books, and I discovered that it was something related about witches and spells, it's just, I needed to have it. In the same way of Leslie Walton book, everything that is related to witches is a must for me. So if you have witches or kind of magical recommendation in that sense of spells, witches, and even if it's historical, I'm okay with historical. Any witches book recommendation would be very, very much appreciated. I don't know much about it other than the Spanish cover. It's stunning and it's full of the different kind of textures and embossed, and I love it. This is the story of a group of friends that actually find a book and they start forgetting stuff. I am I'm not quite sure about anything else, but I'm really into it. Anything related to witches, I'm down. I am not a huge fan of poetry, but the poetry that I read is mainly Shakespeare sonnets. So for me, William Shakespeare is not only the great playwright, but a great poet. His sonnets actually got me into poetry, and I've read at least 3 times the collection of poems that I have, but I always wanted to read something more modern, and I've been, checking Goodreads and stuff, and I know Rupi Kaur is quite loved. So instead of Milk and Honey, which was one of the most known by her, I decided to go with The Sun and Her Flowers. I was expecting, or I want something sweet and easy, as I am not really like expert in poetry, but I really need something to cheer me up, and I think this is the case, or at least to try to know myself better, which is, in my opinion, the vibe that this book has to me. So yeah, I decided to go with Rupi Kaur for a new poetry search. The same day I bought, in the same place actually, I bought Call Me By Your Name, Llámame Por Tu Nombre, because I bought it in Spanish, by Andre Achiman. I am not sure if it's pronounced like that, and I don't know a ton much about the book. I haven't seen the film, so I don't have any kind of reference to that, but I really want to read the book. I know it's going to break me apparently, but I really want to read it and to explore Elio Summer. I think Elio is the main, yeah, and I don't know, I really want to read it. Lastly, during July in Spain there was also the week of auto published authors, so self-published authors, better said, the authors that decided to publish themselves, and I decided to pick an author that is now publishing with other publisher companies, but she started as a self-publishing author, who is Laura Tárraga, and she published the bilogy, or the duology, better said, the duology called Infortunion, which I don't know much about it, but I know that they have space travel, time travel stuff, and I love time travel. So yeah, it was a must for me, and I cannot wait to pick it up on digital form this time. So yeah, this is it. This month I just been crazy, and in August is actually my birthday, so I am a little scared about the books that I may find or I may be given, but I am more than happy to receive them. I hope you had an amazing week, and please, can you tell me if you have read any of the books I mentioned here? What do you thought of them? Which one should I read first, in your opinion, and why? See you next week. Bye.